We are going to talk about data. Okay, so this was back in like Algebra 1 and Algebra 2. It was the last unit that you had in both of those classes. It wasn't bad. You normally did pretty well on it. It's what boosted your grade. So same concept's going to happen here. So population. A population is the entire group of objects. You're writing. Lots of vocab. Entire group of objects being studied it could be considered like a collection of outcomes. Okay, so it's the it's a get hated on for my handwriting. Okay, come right on this thing, and then y'all come talk to me. That I need to transfer over. My goal is during Thanksgiving break to get all my stuff put on my iPad so that it's cleaner on the board. Like I don't have the best handwriting, but I have better handwriting than that. That's bad. Y'all aren't even agreeing with me. Okay, a parameter is a measure or count of the entire population. So if I say the mean of this population is, and I say a number, that is what we call a parameter. Does that make sense? Questions? The way I memorize it is this has a P, this has a P. They go together. Okay? Okay, because the next one is a sample. This is a subset. Do we know what the word subset means? What did you say? Subset of the population. Yeah, we're doing all that jazz. Okay, subset of a population. So a group that's pulled out of the population. Good? A statistic is a measure or count of the sample. The way I memorize this is look. It's like magic. Oh. Okay. So this has a P, this has a P, this has an S, this has an S. Oh my gosh. So if you're ever like, which one goes with which, that's how you memorize it. Okay. So why might we use a sample instead of a population study? If I wanted to ask every person in America what their least favorite Christmas music was, how long would that take? How many people in America are there? Like it's almost billions, right? Yeah. So that would take me a very long time. So a sample will help us be quicker about that information. So it's quicker to use a sample. It's more cost effective because like if I was going to go to Washington, D.C. and I was like, hey, yo, what's your least favorite Christmas music? I'd have to get a plane ride, right? And it's going to cost me like $900 right now, right? Okay. And sometimes it's more accurate. Okay, it's a better representation than sitting there and asking every single person. Everybody good? Questions so far? We got population, parameter, sample, statistic. Can you define those? Okay, turn to your neighbor, define those words without looking at the paper. Go. Or the board. Go. Talk to your neighbor. Haha. Talk to your neighbor. No. Talk to your neighbor. Define these 4 words without looking at your paper or the board. Go. 30 seconds. Go. Go. Thank you for those of you who talked to your neighbor. All right. A recent survey by the alumni of major university indicated that the average salary of $8,500 of its 250,000 graduates was $123,000. Does this value describe a parameter or a statistic? So what's the population that we're talking about? Okay, the major university of how many graduates? Okay, so this is the population. What is the sample? What is the sample? The 8,500, right? Okay, so what does the 123,000 describe? What is the statistic? Because it's talking about the sample. Okay, so the 123,000 measured the 8,500 people. Does that make sense? Question. You got to be able to identify either statistic or parameter. That's step one. Okay. All right, number 5. A survey of 976 American households found that 32% of the households own 2 cars. Identify the population in the sample. So, what is the population? All American households. What is the 976? The sample. Okay, when you describe the population and the population and the sample, you have to put it in context. So you have to talk about the American households. You can't just say 976. Okay? Good? Okay, so you have a board at your table. It's a little mini whiteboard. So cute. Okay, we're going to do 6 through 11. On one side, you're going to write an S. On the other side, you're going to write a P. We're going to go through 6 through 11, and you're going to tell me, is it a sample or is it a population? Okay, so I'm going to throw you a marker. You're going to talk with your friends, and you're going to decide, is it S or is it P? And I'm going to say 1, 2, 3, and you're going to hold it up. Okay, ready? The age of a few randomly selected participants in a study about a race of runners. Ready? 3, 2, 1, hold it up. Perfection, S. Okay. All right, on the next one, the annual salary of each full-time teacher in a study about Phoenix High School. S or P? And 3, 2, 1, go. A little mixed reviews. This is going to be P. Why? Okay. Each full-time teacher. Okay. A population can be a school. If I want to research Peachtree Ridge High School, that's a population. It doesn't have to be everybody and their mother. Does that make sense? Okay. Number 8, a survey of 750 Georgia homeowners in a study about Georgia's homeowners. Sample or survey? I'm sorry, sample or population? I'm going home. 3, 2, 1. Raise my... Again, little mixed reviews. This one's going to be a sample. Okay. All right. The next one, you're identifying either parameter or statistic. Remember our little trick to do that. Okay. Number 9, of a company's employees, the opinion of just those who were on time when warning about what they thought of a new training program. Sample or parameter or statistic. I'm going to talk right in a second. 3, 2, 1, ready to go. A little mixed reviews. This is a statistic because they're very specific about who they picked, right? That one employee that came in to work on time, that one morning. Does that make sense? When you get specific, that's going to be a statistic. Okay. All right. In a study about a small company of 25 employees, the range of their employees' salaries, is it a parameter or is it a statistic? In 3, 2, 1, go. Little mixed review. This is a parameter. Why? Okay, small company, but we're looking at everybody's salary, right? Does everybody see it? Okay. Number 11, in a study about the value of American homes in 2012, the average decrease of the homes sold in Gwinnett. in a study about the value of American homes in 2012, the average decrease of all the homes sold in Gwinnett. And 3, 2, 1, go. Okay, still a little mixed reviews. This is going to be a statistic. Why? Because we talked about in Gwinnett. Yeah? Think about how specific it is. Go ahead. Okay, so in a study about all the American homes, they looked solely at Gwinnett, right? So that's that sample. We pulled a sample. Remember, S, statistic. Does that make sense? Does that help? Gotta be able to recognize them. Yeah. Well, they try to like trip you up. So you got this. All right, flip page. Okay, types of samples. These are my favorite. I say that. They're not my favorite. Okay. So we have a couple different ones. A random sample. This is not, I'm going to close my eyes and like point around the room, and whoever I land on, that's going to be the person. That's not how that's done. They take a random number generator. Do you know what that is?
Yeah.
Okay, if you go into Google and you type random number generator and you say numbers from 1 to 30, it will provide you with a random number. Okay, there cannot be repeats though. So this is a sampling method where a random number generator is used after assigning a number room to each participant. So what I would do, try not to write on a little picture because I'm going to show you something in a second. What I would do is I would say, all right, I'm going to number you off. And then I would get the random number generator and I would do it 10 times with no repeats. And then I would pull those 10 people. Okay. Does that make sense? All right. So I am going to walk around the room. I'm going to assign you a number. I want you to write it at the top of your paper, like in the right hand corner. Okay. So, okay. So let's say I wanted to poll the class, but I didn't have time to poll every single person in my class because y'all keep skipping senior skip days and I can't get everybody in here at the same time. So what I do is I number people and then I would go into my random number generator. Where'd my paper go? I would go into my random number generator. I would hit the button with no repeats. All right, so who's number 6? Okay. What is the best appetizer ever? That's a good answer. 21. 22. What is the best appetizer? Okay. So I would go around and I would take a sample of 10. Okay. And I would make that list. Right. Now, normally when we do this, I would have like some type of data I would collect from you. You would take a survey or whatever. Okay. But that's one way we could do this. Do you see how long it takes? Okay. So there's that. Stratified random sample. Okay. This is a population is divided into at least 2 groups. and then randomly selected. Oh, I'm sorry. Let's do simple random sample. SRS. Figure out why that looked bad. This is simple random sample. This is the abbreviation for simple random sample. That's what we did up here. Okay. So what I would do is in a stratified sample, I would say boys go on this side, girls on this side, and then I would do the random number generator again, and then I would pull data, right? Okay, so let's say that I divided you into groups and we did the random number generator. Who's number 8? Okay. What is your favorite subject? Okay, that hurts my feelings. Number 5. Number 5. What is your favorite subject? Oh, bless. Thanks. Let's try one more time because I end up 14. No. No, what's your favorite subject? I hate all of you. Why? Why? Ugh. Okay. So this would be a dumb experiment, but we could run it, you know. All right, cluster sampling. Bless you. Okay, cluster sampling would be if I divided into groups and all of the members in the group, in one group, are selected. So it's how you're in groups right now. I would be like, okay, I'm gonna pick these 2 groups, okay, and I would ask them the question, okay? So, or I come to over here because y'all are history people over there. If your house could complain about you, what would it say? If your house could complain about you, what would they say? You gotta answer this too. Y'all two tables. House could complain about you. What would you complain about? Go.
Eating too much.
Eating too much. Stop eating. The house could complain about you. What would it say? Clean your floor. Okay. Israel, what you got? Dogs are excited. My dog barks too much. Gio, what you got? If your house could complain about you, what would it say? Having a messy room. Okay, cool. All right, so everybody get it? Cluster sample is, hey, all these people in this group. Normally it's done by like neighborhoods or school systems. Yeah, okay. Systematic sample. A systematic sample is ordered in some way. Ordered in some way. And every nth member is chosen. Okay, so I will go through here. I numbered you 1 through 24. I'm gonna pick I'm gonna go into random number generator and go 1 through 10. Okay, so every 8th person has to answer the question. So, number 8. Who's number 8? Again. Oh my gosh, you're going something else. What's your most frequently used saying? That has to be school appropriate.
Yeah.
What is your most frequently used saying? Like,
Oh my God.
gee willikers, Batman, like whatever you say. Whatever you say. What's your most frequently used name? Like saying. Go. Say again. You don't know? You don't say like, oh shucks, or I don't know. I'm trying. Hey. Holy barnacles. Okay. All right. Number 16. Who's number 16? Osiris. I don't know if I want to know this answer. What number are you?
0.
They're not. It's not an option. Okay. What about no? All right. Number 24. Charles will answer that. What's your most frequently used saying school appropriate? Chicken wings. Okay. Let's say that I ran out of people, right? I would go back and I would do it again, right? And I'd probably have to use a different number because otherwise we'd get the same exact people. All right, number 1. Who's number 1? Okay. What's your most frequently used saying? I want to go home. That's also a good answer. Good answer. Okay. Convenient sample. This is my favorite type of sample. Hey, y'all knock it off. Oh my God, are we 5? Like, bro. All right, convenient sample. Ready? So this is sampling people who are readily available. Okay, so the way to do this is you go out in the hallway during class changes and you just stand at the door like this. So let's see if I get anything. Yeah. So you go out the hallway and you would be like, hey, the convenience sample, right? You would get everybody who is out in the hallway. Yes. So when they're standing outside of Walmart, and they're like, hey, yo, answer this question, right? Does that make sense? So, Mr. Shade, because you were the only person who was in the hallway when I went out there. What is the best appetizer? Wings. Yeah. Wings is an appetizer. All right. You ready? Okay, so now we're doing 17 through 21. So on your little whiteboard thingy, okay, you're gonna actually have to write this one out. Those are the abbreviations. So pick somebody to be the writer. Yes, pick somebody to be the writer. So on number 17, there are 250 7th graders and 300, Charles, I'm reading, 300 8th graders at a generic middle school. We asked 45 7th graders and 50 8th graders how many siblings they have to compare the two groups. Is this random, stratified, cluster, convenience, or systematic? Okay, wait. Don't say it out loud. Talk quietly with your group. You've got 10 seconds. Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. Answers? What you got? Oh, you don't. Okay. Cool. All right. Okay. Why is it stratified? One person. What? It's 2 groups. But it's not everyone in the 2 groups. Remember, cluster is, hey, I'm only going to ask these 2 students. Right? Got it?
Yes.
Cluster is, hey, your neighborhood people, you're asking everybody in the neighborhood. Yeah.
Wait, what is like only asking a couple people in the neighborhood?
So that would probably be your stratified if you were going to break them into groups. You could do it that way. It's all about how you structure it. All right, number 18. I asked all freshmen, no sophomores, no juniors, and all the seniors if they prefer vanilla or cherry Coke. Definitely cherry Coke. To create a study of what should be in the vending machines. Okay, is it random, stratified, cluster, convenience, or systematic? Go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And answers. Okay. Kevin, what y'all say about it? Do you agree with cluster? Kevin, you good?
I'm thinking about it because
Because what?
cluster. This was designed to do.
So remember, we have a whole classroom, and I only hate. Can somebody else not getting this? I'll have a whole classroom, but I'm only gonna go to these two tables. I'm gonna ask everybody at those two tables, hey, what do they think? What do we do here? All freshmen, all seniors. Good? So it would be cluster. Y'all got it. Good job. All right, next one. I asked everyone in my fifth period class who has more than one computer at home in a study about all my students for the year. Is that, I'm reading. Random, stratified, cluster, convenience, or systematic? And 5, 3, 2, and 1. 1. All right, put them up. Okay, Charles needs help. So, what we got? A lot of people are saying convenience. Why are we saying convenience? Because everybody in my fifth period, right? That's convenient for me, right? Mr. Shea was out in the hallway. I walked out there and he answered my question. Convenience. He was like 2 steps away, right? Yes, ma'am. Yeah, it's at the end of the block though. That's okay. Okay, we'll make it quick. No worries. I got you. All right, number 20. I collect data from my every 15th student on my list of the entire school population.
Oh.
What we got? And 5. I didn't say hold up yet. Hold on. Is it random, stratified, cluster, convenience, or systematic? Talk to your neighbor really quick. Make sure that you're right before you hold it up. 3.
Can I put 2 answers?
No. What you trying to put? Put 2 answers so we can talk about it. All right, 3, 2, 1. Put them up. Okay, majority of y'all said systematic. Good. Why? Nth student, right? Nth student. Everybody say nth. Okay. So systematic, you got nth student, 15th student. After using a random number table to generate 2-digit numbers, I'm going to show you a random number table a little bit later. Random number generator is what we like, though. I decide on 10 people to choose from the population. Which one is it? Random, stratified, cluster, convenience, systematic. 3, 2, 1. Put an answer. Go. Missing 2 whiteboards. What you doing? All right, give me what you got. All right. Z, what you got, babe? What you got? Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't see it. All right, so we all put random. Why? Because all I said was, hey, we picked random, right? We pulled 10 people. Yeah? Good? Questions? Not too bad, right? Okay. I got it. We got it. We're gonna take care of it later. We got it. All right. Rank the sampling types in order from what would usually be the worst to best representation of a population. Provide brief explanations. Random, stratified, cluster, convenience, and systematic. So I want you to start with the worst representation to the best. Okay? I want you to take 2 minutes, turn to your neighbor, and talk about what would be the worst kind of sampling to the best kind of sampling. Huh? Kind of, yeah. Think about bias. What is bias? Okay, so for instance, if I asked you right now, what is your favorite subject? And you're sitting in a math class and we just spent 40 minutes going over notes, are you going to tell me that math is your favorite subject? So since you're so convenient, would that be a good representation of the entire school? No. So what's the worst sampling? Okay, so there's the first one. Can you do the rest? What's up, Sai? Like it has a strong push towards one side or the other. Yep.
Like random inconvenience.
To some degree. Convenience is going to have a little bit more bias because, like, if I go out in the hallway and I ask them, hey, what's their favorite subject? And I'm hoping that they say math, they're going to probably say no, right? Maybe. Okay, so the next one, what about cluster? So for instance, if I wanted to ask the freshman's opinion on prom's theme, would that be a good idea? So cluster sampling may not be a good representation of the population. So that would probably be the next one, cluster. But with stratified, asking about stratified, like if we wanted to study Peachtree Ridge and maybe their GPA, right? How would I do a stratified sample of Peachtree Ridge? You could do men and women. That's fine. Okay. So who would have a higher GPA? Actually, yeah. Women tend to have a higher GPA. That doesn't mean that they're necessarily smarter than men or anything like that. But just based off of history, that's normally what happens. Okay, so stratified would kind of be equivalent to cluster, right? If we just looked at the women or we just looked at the men, would it really be a good depiction of the entire population? Not necessarily, okay? So we've got systematic and we've got random. Is systematic a good one? Is there any problems with systematic? Okay.
Or like what's probably
Okay, so there's not a whole lot of bias. So what about random versus the systematic? Random versus systematic.
Like
Why?
it depends like on the example.
Oh, well, I think that you don't want to be completely random because if you go completely random, let's say that you you pull me and then thing, and then you pull Osiris, and we have the exact same, or you pull, let's say you pull three in a row, and then you pull, let's say, well, I'm not talking like, but like, let's say you pull Grant, and he has like a different opinion. That's like 3 to 1 odds. So it's like you have a lot of people that have maybe one opinion, and then not so many people have another opinion because it's at random. Whereas like system, it's like you're going.
Isn't it still random? Like, what's the second part of the system? Right. So are we going to hit more of the like various parts of the population? Okay. I mean, what were you saying back there? You say anything?
Like systematics like a script. So it's like boom, 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 the random will be boom, boom, boom. It's just random, like it's just a weak vibe.
Okay.
Yeah.
So random is the least biased. That's going to probably be the best representation of Peachtree Ridge, right? Okay. Now, the systematic isn't a bad option, right? So just like what you were saying, I mean, we hit every 10th person, so it's still hitting that random piece to it. It's just got an extra step, right? So I guess you can kind of argue the systematic versus the random. Okay. If I get so far. Questions on anything? All right, flip page. Woo-hoo. See, y'all were freaking out. It's fine. It'll be fine. It is a lot of words. Well, one, that scares me. And two, a census? What's a census?
It's like see how many people are in one household.
Okay, so they send out to every house in America this document, and they're like, hey, how many people live in your house? And they take a couple other questions as well. A census goes to every single person. Census, not consensus. Two different things. All right, observational study. This is a type of study to understand a cause and effect. If my pen would work. Okay, this is to understand cause and effect. I'll put effect, okay? But the observer or researcher is not able to control how groups are assigned. Or the treatments that they receive. I know a lot of words. Okay, so they understand cause and effect, and the researcher is not able to control how groups are assigned or treatments they receive. Cyrus, you writing things down? All right, we okay on that? They just kind of sit back and then watch, right? All right, experimental is still cause and effect relationship. Okay, so understand, I need to do it in red. Understand cause and effect. But the researcher selects groups. Selects groups. And normally they have a control and a placebo. What is a placebo? Everybody say placebo.
Placebo.
What is a placebo?
Placebo, okay.
Okay. Unfinished version. So if I sit here and I go, here's this magic pill that will make me ace my math class. There's one that does that, and then there's just like a sugar pill. Okay, and I set them on the counter and I mix them up and I say, hey, Charles, come here. Come take these. And he takes one. What is he going to think that he took, though? If I didn't tell him that one was a sugar pill.
I think, okay, well, I was just explaining the placebo, but it's just like basically like you tell somebody, if I told you that this marker will make you do a backflip if you touch it, you touch the marker and you do a backflip, the marker didn't actually make you do a backflip. You did it because you believe in the marker.
Okay, good. All right, so there's control and there's a placebo. So people who actually receive whatever treatment is going on, and then there's one that doesn't receive it, right? To see what the effect is, okay? So treatment group is going to be the one that actually receives the treatment. Sorry, that's the squished. Okay, control group and the placebo. So the group that receives a fake treatment. Yeah, that's what a placebo is. So the group that receives a fake treatment. Are you on this? Okay. All right, simulations is a way to model random events in a statistical study. So a way to model, y'all holler if I'm going too fast. Random events in a statistical study. So each outcome or each simulation matches real world outcomes. I'm trying to shorten that up as much as possible. Way to model random events in a statistical study. The simulation matches the real world outcomes. Yes, ma'am. Yeah, go ahead. Hey, go ahead and knock that thing out while you're there. Yep. Okay, what is a census, Charles? What's a census?
Um,
Survey to who?
to the people at the house.
So everybody in the population, right? Okay, so a study, everybody finished with what's on the board? Okay, hold on, give them 10 seconds. So it's a study that uses counts or measures of the entire population. So a study that's done on the entire population. Normally it's a survey. Matches real world outcomes. I apologize. I need to switch to iPad. Yeah, it's happening this week. I just gotta upload everything.
Make it a really-
No, just gotta put in the date or put all the PowerPoints in. Okay. Good. Okay. All right. Census is a study that measures entire population, everybody. And then if we say sampling, that's a study that selects a subset. What's the subset again? Okay, it's a sample. Yeah, okay. You're close, Charles. Very close. Estimate characteristics. So, for instance, if I wanted to figure out how Peachtree Ridge felt about North Gwinnett, and I took a sample of all of the seniors, okay, that would give me a rough depiction of how everybody in the school felt, right? How many people do we have in the school?
Like 3,000.
Okay, cool. So would I want to go sample or would I want to go ask 3,000 people how they feel? No. So I would want to do a smaller sample in order for me to be able to talk about the whole population.
So I think you wouldn't just like grab some seniors, grab like some junior stuff, some stuff first.
Who you gonna grab? Where am I gonna get these kids from? Okay, just like randomly walk into classrooms and be like, yo, you
Through lunch.
Like,
through lunch. Okay. Everybody got a student number, don't they?
yes.
Going that way. Okay. All right. So we're back to the whiteboards. Yay, whiteboards. Yay, what? No, yay, whiteboards. Okay. We've got experimental, simulation, census, sampling, and observational. This is a little tricky because they like to trip you up with like buzzwords. Okay, so you've got to make sure that you read them through. Okay, so on number 6, you want to know how many pets the teachers at Phoenix High School own. Yeah, it is. All right, experimental, simulation, census, sampling, or observational. Talk to your friends, ready? 3. Talk to your friends, not to hear chatter. Go, go, go. Okay, sorry, can you wake up Noah, please? I know, he's struggling. You good, bud? All right, experimental, simulation, census, sampling, or observational. You want to know how many pets the teachers at Phoenix High School own. Okay, ready?
Wait, let me spell it.
3, 2, 1. Give me what you got. Okay, I see you.
Oh, snap. What?
All right, what y'all say? Okay, everybody got something different. So let's talk. I want to know how many pets the teachers at Phoenix High School own. So am I going to ask every teacher there? Okay, which one of those do I ask every single person? Census.
But that's the entire population. The entire students stuff.
No, all the teachers at Phoenix High School?
Because it's specified teachers, that makes sense. They just
All the
said,
teachers at
you know,
Phoenix High School.
people at Phoenix High School, that's not that.
That would include the students then, right? But it was very specific. I know, these are a little tricky. If they said that they're gonna ask all students and teachers, then it wouldn't change anything. But if they said they're just gonna pull the teachers, then that would. I wouldn't really change much. Because I would still ask all of them. All right, let's try number 7. A drug is given to 15 patients and a placebo to another group to determine if its effect on an illness. Is this experimental, simulation, census, sampling, or observational? In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let me see.
I think it's not.
Okay. Okay. Kevin, what y'all got? What you got, Marco? What you got? Good morning, sunshine. I see people put experimental. Why? Because of placebo. Okay. Everybody good? All right. Number 8. You're doing a study at the mall in which you are counting the number of men that wash their hands after using the restroom. Gross. Okay. Is this experimental, simulation, census, sampling, or observational? And 5, 3, 2, 1. Let me see.
Oh,
All right, Shane, I see you said observational. Why? Because what? Yeah, you just watching these people if they wash their hands or not. That's a little weird. So like, here's kind of the weird part. Sometimes like sampling's kind of strange because you're just watching people do kind of weird things. So, all right. You want to know the G-forces a person would experience during a fall from a 90-foot high bridge into a lake. Experimental, simulation, census, sampling, observational.
what?
Would you actually like send somebody on a 90-foot high bridge into a lake? They would probably die. So you would simulate that. Does that make sense? You're good. Bye, baby. No, that would be unethical. We are going to talk about ethics a little bit later. When you do experiments, you cannot do something that harms a person. Even if they, you can, yeah. That's a little different. Different. Okay? I just work here. All right, you need data on the average number of hours worked per week by an American teenager with a part-time job. Which one is it? Sampling. Good. Yo,
I want to write on the board.
it's fine. All right, flip. You can not. That's exactly what you're doing.
I'm trying to hurt your feelings like that.
Okay. So there is a difference between quantitative and qualitative. Can everybody say quantitative and qualitative? Oh, I spit all over the place. So, yeah, I know. Qualitative is talking about information with qualities. Do we see the root word? Okay. Yeah. All right. So information that can't actually be measured. So can't be measured. Normally we call this categorical. So for instance, when I asked you the question about what your favorite subject is, and you, thank you, Lucy.
Lunch.
God, you're gonna get a name in my class, it's fine.
Lunch.
So when I ask you that question, that's not a number, right? It's not a number, it's a word. Yeah, that is a qualitative data piece. I just work here. Okay, quantitative is information about quantities. Okay. That's information that can be measured. Charles, we're gonna fight. Stop filming.
What?
All right, so this is gonna have numbers with it. All right, so how tall are you? That is a quantitative measure. How much do you weigh? That's a quantitative measure. Does that make sense? Yes. Yes. Make sure you sign up. Okay, so take a moment at your table. You don't have to put this on the little whiteboards. You are going to put qualitative or quantitative on those things. 12 through 20. Ready, go. 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 All right, let's boogie. Good work. Number 12, qualitative. Quantitative. I'm gonna go put L. L or
Oh, I didn't.
which one are you confused about? Number on shirts. Every single person is going to be a different number. Right? So that's a category. You're assigned a number. It doesn't give us information about that person. And then 20, again, social security numbers, that's what you're assigned. You didn't pick that. You didn't like grow to a specific height with that, right?
What?
Good question. No. Okay. Are we okay? Can we keep going or do we need a break?
Greg, you say you all look the same?
Yeah.
I would not say that.
Okay. So the next part, it says bias, right? Yeah. Okay. Let's go ahead and knock bias out. I told y'all it was a lot of vocab. You'll be fine. Okay, bias. To over or underestimate. Over or underestimate values of a population. Okay. A sampling bias is in which the sample is collected where some members are less likely to be included. So again, this would be like if you don't use a random sample, you're going to have some type of bias. Like if you don't use random sample, it's going to lead to a bias. Okay. Convenient samples are going to have some type of bias. Like again, you just sat in here for an hour and some change and you're telling me that, you wouldn't pick math, right? That's fair. Okay. All right. Which would most likely be the best representative sample and which would be the worst sample to determine the voting preference for the next president in the city of Lawrenceville? Read those four and tell me which one's the best way and the worst way. This will be the last question we ask. Yes. You have to be. In order to be a head coach, yeah, you do. All right. So the best way is to do B.
Oh,
Wow. The worst way is D.